Hey guys, it's Surgeon here, and welcome to my farm running guide. Now, if you haven't seen my first farming guide where I talked about how to get your farming level started off, please go and look at that video. That video will be in the description. It will also be at the end of the video as well. But if you haven't seen that one, go ahead and check that one out first. This is purely going to be about how to start training your farming after you've already done the initial quests to start leveling it up. That being said, if you were looking for a CC to hang out in, that'll be in the description. And if you're looking for a Discord as well that you want to hang out and talk to some people, talk to some other nerds, that'll be in the description as well. Other than that, let's jump into this and let's talk about how to train farming and make some money. Before we start running into our patches, let's talk about what you should be wearing. Now, obviously, with farm runs, you're going to be running around a lot, so you want your weight reducing gear on. Ideally, if you've got full graceful, you want to wear that on because it's going to decrease the rate at which your run depletes. But if you don't have full graceful, just wear some kind of weight reducing gear. If you have level 99 farming, then you probably aren't watching this guide. But if you are, make sure you're wearing your farming cape to get your extra yield. And also, the other things you want to be bringing are you want to bring a Xerix talisman for the Hosidius patch. You want to bring an Explorer's ring for the Falador patch. And you want to bring an Artie cloak for your Artie patch as well. The inventory, you're going to want to have as many seeds as you're going to be going to. So I'm going to 7 patches, so I have all 7. You're going to need a seed dibber and a spade. And if you're on lunars, then you're going to want to have in your rune pouch, you're going to want to have your law runes, nature runes, and astral runes. Wear a mud battle staff, and you're going to want to have a tome of fire so that way you can cast magic imbue while you're doing this. If you're on a standard spellbook, then you want to have an air staff equipped for teleports, and you want to make sure you're bringing in fire runes and law runes alongside with you. Also, you'll want to have as many super composts in your inventory as you have herb seeds for your farming patches. Alright, so you're all set up now. Let's start off. First patch we're going to go to is on Harmony Island. You can only access this one after you've done the Elite Mauritania Diary, so if you haven't done that, don't worry. Skip this patch and go on to the next one. But for those of you who have, the quickest way to get here is to use the Harmony Island teleport off the RCS spellbook, which requires 65 magic. Obviously, I have 93 magic in this video, so I actually pot up to spellbook swap. Fun fact, if you are 93 or 92 magic, you can boost. Bring 2 spellbook swaps, so you can spellbook swap to the RCS spellbook. Real quick, I cut myself off here. Plant your seed first before you use compost on the patch. The reason for this is because if you plant the seed in the patch, it will stop weeds from growing. And in the tick where you are planting the seed into the patch, or you go to fertilize the soil with super compost, in the tick of you doing that, you can actually have weeds grow in the spot, which sucks because then you have to grab your rake and actually rake out the weeds. So plant your seed first and then use your super compost. And then spellbook swap to the standard spellbook after this one, because the next patch we're going to go to is the Trollheim teleport. So I'm going to imbue fertile soil this, spellbook swap to standard, teleport to Trollheim, which is right next to the Tele Group Fishing Guild, teleport to Trollheim. And this is where you're going to start if you haven't done the Elite Mauritania Diaries. You're going to use the Trollheim teleport to get here. If you don't have that, then you can obviously, after doing Edgar's Ruse, you can use a teleport to house with a scroll of redirection from Nightmare Zone to get here. Or you can simply run here from a Birthrope Games necklace teleport. You're going to follow the path around. If you've done the hard Relica Diaries, then you can use a shortcut to climb up to the top of the Troll Stronghold. If not, you're going to have to run through the Troll Stronghold, and you're going to go through a door that's always open and climb up a ladder. But if you have done the diaries and you have the agility level required, go ahead and use the shortcut, and it's going to put you right next to the patch. Make sure that when you harvest your herbs that you are wearing your magic secateurs. And if you notice, I spam click the patch until my character does this little kind of like stutter step. And if you notice, I'm actually picking at about 150% speed than you normally would. So after you've done this patch, go ahead and plant or use your super compost on it. And you want to note your herbs here. Note your herbs at this patch if this is your second patch. If it's your first patch, I would still recommend noting here, because the next patch we're going to go to is the one in Port Phasmatis, which is next to the Ectophile. And the reason you want to note your herbs before you go to this patch is because the Tool Leprechaun is actually far away from the herb patch, so you would have to run rather far in order to note your herbs. So I'd recommend noting them at that patch, since the Tool Leprechaun is much closer than at this patch. Now, obviously, if you didn't know already, you can use any kind of produce on the Tool Leprechaun, and they will note it for you. So I usually clean my herbs because I tend to use these for training my own herb lore. But if you're only interested in profit, typically grimy herbs are much more expensive than the clean herbs, so you want to leave those grimy and just note those as is. Next thing we're going to go to is the Hosidius farming patch, which is on Zaya. The easiest way to get here is to use a Xerix Talisman teleport to the Glade, or to Xerix Glade. If you don't have that done, then you can obviously teleport you can use a Karen teleport. Once you've found the spellbook in the RCS library, you can use a teleport to house with a scroll of redirection and teleport to the house portal on Corinne. You can use a spirit tree teleport if you've planted your own spirit tree, or you can simply run here from Port Sarim and take the charter boat over here. After this patch, you're going to want to note your herbs as well, and we're going to make our way to the Artie patch. If you have an Artie Cloak 4, then you obviously use your Artie farm. If you've already used that teleport, the easiest ways to get here are to use either a Quest Cape teleport or a Skills Necklace teleport to the Fishing Guild. If you're using the Quest Cape, you're going to want to run to the west, and if you're using a Fishing Guild teleport, you're going to want to run to the east. You're going to want to harvest this patch just like every other patch. After this patch, you're going to want to use your Explorer's Ring Cabbage Port and teleport to the Cabbage Patch, and then run north to the Falador Patch. Obviously, if you don't have a Cabbage Port, then what you can use is a Glory and teleport to Draenor Village, or you can use a Falador teleport and run south from Falador Square to get here. You're going to want to note your herbs here as well, because the next two patches, the Tool Leprechauns are kind of not in the way, so you're going to want to go ahead and note your herbs before you start this one, plant them, and then the next patch we're going to move to is Catherby, or Catherby, however the fuck you want to say it. For me personally, if you have 88 magic and you're on Lunars, you can tele-group to Catherby and get here, which is how I do it. It's the closest way to get here. If not, and you're on Standard Spellbook, then you can use a Camelot teleport and run to the east. And if you don't have either of those are pretty much your only two really good options for getting here. So I would invest in either just buying a Camelot teleport and teleporting there to get here. Now obviously I just did herbs, but if you're doing allotments as well, then mixing your allotments with each of these patches as well. 5 of the 7 patches I went over have allotments there as well, so go ahead and do allotments if you're trying to gain XP. Now that I'm level 99, I'm not that worried about it, but obviously herbs I am. From making money to spending money, we're going to talk about farming trees now. Now I'm going to go through doing a tree and a fruit tree run and a calquat run. So as you can see in my inventory, that's what we're going to talk about here. That's why the frame has been frozen. You've got 5 normal trees, 5 fruit trees, and 1 calquat seed or sapling in your inventory. You're going to want to have in your room pouch the same as what we had in before. You're going to want a Varrock teleport, Lumbridge teleport, and Falador teleport. You're going to want an axe in there, a spade, some cash. If you've done the the Monkey Madness Part 2, then you're going to want to use the Royal Tree Seed, and you're going to want a Teleport Crystal as well to get to Litia. That would be my advice. There's obviously a lot of requirements to do this run, so there's a lot of different things we're going to be covering. So if you can't do any of them, I apologize in advance, but there's a lot of ways, and this is about a 9-minute run to get through all your trees. Conveniently, the first patch we're going to start off with is the Catherby Fruit Tree patch, so this ties in really well with doing your normal herb runs as well. So you're going to want to run from the Catherby Bank to the east, pick your fruit tree, and then plant your next one. Fun fact, once you've actually picked the fruit, I think I said this in my farming tips video, you can actually pay to have it cut down. When I was training farming religiously, you couldn't. So go ahead and pay 200 GP and have them cut the tree down for you. It saves you a lot of time instead of having to cut it down yourself and dig it up. The next one we're going to want to go to is the Brimhaven. The Brimhaven fruit tree and the calquat tree. The quickest way to get here, most convenient way, would be to just run to the charter ship. It's going to save you the most amount of gold as well. So you want to run to the charter ship, take a charter to Brimhaven. Fruit tree is going to be right to your south. Obviously, if you want to get here a little bit faster and spend a little bit more money, you can do a Brimhaven teleport with a scroll of redirection on a teleport to house tab. But those are going to be your 2 main ways to get here. You can also use a Karamja teleport off of a Amulet of Glory to get here, but that's not really recommended because of how far away it is. Once you've done that, you're going to want to run to the south, and we're going to make our way to the calquat tree. Alright, once we're here, go ahead and pick your fruit. If you notice there's a huge XP drop, this one gives you about 12k experience once it's planted. So you want to go ahead and clear this. You cannot have to pay to have this one cut down. You have to clear it yourself. So plant it, imbue, fertile soil. Then we're going to head to Lumbridge, and now we're going to start our normal trees. So teleport to Lumbridge and run to the east side behind the castle, and there should be a normal tree behind there. Then we're going to want to make our way to Varrock. If you have the Royal Tree Seed. If you do not have the Royal Tree Seed, then you're going to want to go to Falador first and do the method that I'm about to show you guys. But if you have the Royal Tree Seed, then go ahead and go to Varrock first, and then we'll go to Falador after this one. Also, if you notice, I'm having them cut the tree down for me. It saves a lot of time. And usually the logs that you get, obviously there's not a whole lot of inventory space on me anyway. So you're going to want to usually have them cut down because you're going to have to bank or get them turned into notes from the tool leprechaun. And it's really not worth your time. So then we're going to teleport to Falador. You're going to want to do the one in Falador Square first. And then you're going to want to run out of Falador, run to the north, and head to Taverley. An alternate way to get here is obviously a teleport to House if you have it. Or if you've done the Enlightened Journey, then you can use a hot air balloon travel to get here, but I just prefer to run up. It saves me less inventory space and it's just easier for me. So after that, you're going to want to use your trees pod to go to the Grand Tree, and then we're going to want to run to the south to the Fruit Tree. If you haven't done Monkey Madness 2, then what you're going to want to do is, once you've done the Varrock patch, you're going to want to run to the GE, use the Spirit Tree there to teleport to the Grand Tree Stronghold, and then once you've gone there, run to the east, go to the Fruit Tree, and then after the Fruit Tree, run to the southwest to where the normal tree is. You're going to want to go ahead and plant that. Again, even for magic trees, it's not worth investing my time to cut it because I'm more interested in gaining farming experience than I am gaining woodcutting experience or money at this point. If you are using a normal spellbook, then you're going to want to bank at this location to bank some of your buckets, plant pots, whatever. Unless you're dropping your plant pots, in which case you don't need to bank at all. After this, go to the Tree Gnome Village, run to the west. You're going to want to go through the loose railing, talk to Elkoi, and he'll take you out of the maze. And there's a fruit tree right to your west, right to your west. So go ahead and plant this one. Also, it is to be noted that the majority of your experience comes from checking the health of these trees, not from harvesting, which is why we continuously plant these and we don't just continuously harvest them. Next, after this, you're going to want to use your teleport crystal to get to Letia, and then that'll bring you to the elf land, and this is where you're going to want to plant your last tree, and that'll be the end of your farming run, or your tree run. Now, if you haven't done Mourner's End Part 1 or 2 to get your teleport crystal, I'm sorry, but you're kind of out of luck. That's the easiest way to get to this patch. Alright, I feel I'll get yelled at if I don't mention these two in here, but here are a couple special things you can do. The first one we're going to do is cactus spines. You need 55 farming to actually grow a cactus. But you're not going to be growing cacti religiously. You're not going to be constantly unplanting it and planting it. What you are going to be doing is picking the cactus spines off of this. So you're going to grow it once and then come back about every herb run or so and pick off the spines. You can produce up to 3 spines on these cacti at once, and you get 1 spine every 25 minutes. So about the same time you're doing your herb runs, you want to make sure you're coming by here and picking your 3 spines. The spines actually go for about 6k each, 6 to 8k each, so that's a quick extra 24k you can have every herb run. The next one we're going to go to is in Mauritania, and it's actually right next to the Fairy Ring Code. I believe it's CKS, and you're going to want to go, and this is where your bitter cap mushrooms are. The mushroom spore to plant these actually costs like 500 GP, but harvesting them, you'll have 6 mushrooms every harvest. There's only 1 missing because I had to do it for a diary, but you'll get 6 and you get about 3k per harvest. These take a very long time to grow. They take approximately 4 hours to grow. So it's something you can do really quick. If you've got a quest cape, then you can just teleport to the Legends Guild and run there. But to be honest, if you don't do this one, it's really not that big of a deal. You're not going to get a lot of experience for it for sure. The last one we're going to talk about is a very kind of underestimated way to train farming and not a very reliable one. But we're going to talk about spirit seed farming. These require 83 farming to grow, and you can only plant 1 at a time. When you're level 91 farming, you can plant 2. And when you're level 99, you can plant all 4 of them. Now, why would you do these? Well, for one, spirit seeds are untradeable, so you're either going to drop them or they're just going to rot in your bank. So you may as well just fucking use them. If they succeed, they give you 19,301 experience, which is a lot for farming, especially because these have no value. Like, there's no actual GE value on them. It's just you getting them randomly from drops. So the first one that we're going to go to is on Brimhaven. You can use a Brimhaven teleport with the scroll of redirection on a teleport to house to get here, or you can teleport to Ardy and use the charter boat to get here. Get to Brimhaven. It's right next to the Brimhaven agility. If you have an achievement diary cape, you can also teleport to the achievement diary location there as well. The next one we're going to go to is on Miscellanea. It's actually not on Miscellanea. It's on the island at Cross, which is like Icteria, or however the fuck you say it. I don't know. But easiest way for me to get here was to use my quest cape and then use the Fairy Ring Code CIP and then run to the east and it's on the south side of the castle. An alternative way to get here would be to use a Ring of Wealth teleport to Miscellanea and then do the same method. You can also teleport to Relica in any way, shape, or form using like an Enchanted Lyre or Firminic Boots or something like that, and then get to Miscellanea that way. Use a shortcut to hop across and then get to the south side of the castle. For planning these, you only get around 200 experience, so you're not going to be getting a whole lot for planning them, and they take like 2.5 days to plant to actually come to fruition. So that's something you're not going to do very often, but if you have them sitting in your bank, there's no reason for you to not do this. It takes you about 5 minutes, if that, to actually go through and do this run, because the next one you're going to go to is right to the north of Port Sarim. So if you have your Cabbage Port, which if you're level 83 farming, I'm hoping you have an Explorer's Ring at this point, you can use your Cabbage Port, then run to the south from the Cabbage Patch, and there's a Spirit Tree patch right there. And the last one we're going to go to is on Zaya. The easiest way to get here would be to use a teleport to house teleport that's been redirected to Korend. But if you don't have one of those, then you can use your Xerix Talisman and teleport to the Glade and run to the west. And you're going to want to run to pretty much exactly west from where you spawn, or from where you teleport to. You're going to see the house portal. When you see the house portal, run to the southwest. There's an agility shortcut to get across. Hop across there, and then you're going to want to run to the northwest, and you'll find the Spirit Tree patch there. I already have this one planted, so I'm going to use my spade on it to get rid of it and then plant a new one. And then there you go. That will be all 4 of them done. Now, like I said, these take 58 hours and 40 minutes to come to fruition, so almost 2.5 days. So you don't want to be using this as a reliable way to train, but every 2 days or so, every 3 days, if they all come, like if 2 of them come to fruition, then that's going to be a nice 40k experience boost to your farming, and it'll take you maybe a minute or 2 to go and grab them. So if you've got Spirit Trees in your bank, may as well use them. Alright, before I end this video, I want to give y'all a couple quick tips. 1, how I mentioned the stutter step when you go to harvest your herbs, how you can pick at 150% speed. You can do the same thing with allotment patches. You do it the same way. Spam click that patch until you see your character do like a double shovel, and then he'll harvest the allotments at like 150% speed. Other than that, that's really the only major tip I have. Besides that, trees, normal trees, take a shorter amount of time than fruit trees. All fruit trees take the same amount of time to grow, regardless of the level. But normal trees do vary based on whatever tree you're playing. So make sure you take that into account when you do your tree runs. If you're doing oak trees or acorns, they're going to take a much less time than if you have to do magic trees. So keep that in mind and make sure you're looking that up before you go and try to do multiple tree runs in a day. That way you're not wasting your time having to run out to those patches. Other than that, that's going to do it for this video. I hope you guys did enjoy. I tried to cover most of the normal farming runs that you would do to train. Obviously, I didn't go over hops or flowers or anything like that because it's not really a way that you train. Obviously, for flowers, you're going to plant what you need to protect your allotments and then leave those up so that way they don't die. But other than that, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, remember to give it a like. If you want to see more content, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We're growing at a massive rate, and I love every one of you that have been staying around, hanging out in the CC, which is in the description, by the way, as well as the Discord. And if you want to leave me feedback on this video or let me know, what you thought of it, or if you want to troll me, that's what the comments section is for. So, that all being said, y'all have a great night, morning, afternoon, whatever fucking time it is, and I'll catch you on the next one.